How to get a business loan up to 2 million, 5 million, 10 million, and beyond without collateral, no hard credit checks, low documentation. Sounds too good to be true, right? But it isn't. Hi, my name is Michael with Viral Funding Solutions, and I'm going to discuss everything that I just mentioned, plus SBA EIDL Loan news, the PPP, Employee Retention Tax Credit, but most of all, this is going to be a frequently asked question day. It is Friday, August 19th, 2022, and it's going to be less intensive than it was earlier in the week. So I'm going to keep it very short and concise and to the point. I know this is more of a spontaneous one, not one that I broadcasted out for you guys to come and join. And I've been doing this from time to time on a Friday. I just want to be more relaxed. So don't expect a lot of information coming out from me. What I want to do is allow you the opportunity to ask me questions, and I'll go through some of the ones that people have been asking me, and we'll end up from there. So, first and foremost, I am a business loan broker expert. For those of you who are joining me for the very first time, I help out a lot of businesses, small and large, little employees, no employees, a lot of employees. Maybe it's just a one-man show. Get the right type of funding they need to finally build, grow, expand, and even get out of a tight pinch. Just earlier, I was on TikTok helping out individuals in there. I know they enjoy my presence there. So I'll show up from time to time throughout the week. Did it earlier. So here I am later after a few attempts at getting some of my Gmail accounts sorted. So here's a quick story. I've been using a Gmail account underneath my student email, but it's not the only one. I have a lot of emails. It's just that's one that hasn't been used in a long time. It just sits there dormant. Sometimes it collects a document in there when I'm just quickly pushing information in. I still get emails from there that I'll check. But this is a college account. So the administrator had disabled access to it, and I had found out by doing a quick login, and it didn't let me. I had to contact my administrator, so I did. Went through the IT department, sent them an email, copy of my driver's license attached, and they had opened it back up for about 48 hours. I'm into that right now. Should be ending tomorrow night. Not that that account matters deeply as my other professional email and at Gmail accounts, because those I do use. This one is separate. But just learn from it. We all make that, not a mistake, but we forget to transfer our information to another account. We forget to list a different email underneath our video software service or our YouTube account or this and that, because time goes on and we just kind of dump information there if we're showing people things. So I've been working on that lately. I just got off chat support with Google Analytics, just making sure that I moved everything over correctly. And I did. I just wanted reassurance. Google Search Console, the Google Ads, Analytics, Vimeo, amongst many other platforms. So I've been doing that quite a bit. But earlier, I also worked on questionnaire forms. So from about 10 to 12 or so, I worked on those. So I'm still trying to get plenty of them completed. If you're not one of them, please be patient with me and I will get it back to you. And if you're in here watching, if I haven't said this, please give me a hashtag live if you're watching now, or in the replay, hashtag replay or hashtag team replay. I do see those all the time, and I'll take some time to respond to that back. And if I don't, just know that I'm there and I'm just getting flooded and I'm working and I'm doing all these different projects. So the big question is, how do you get a business loan up to 2 million? What are the lenders looking for? Well, first and foremost, let's work backwards. What are you doing in annual gross revenue is a big question. What is your net profit loss? So it depends on the service. So if we're going for a higher tier like an SBA loan, profitability becomes more a factor. Documentation like year-to-date financials, profit and loss. Now I'll ask for it for certain years. Your balance sheets, I'll need them. Year over year, primarily. So it just depends on the service, and those tax returns are going to tell us a lot about it. And so when I ask for that information, it could be because you're applying for a higher tier service, or it could be because we need to look at something more extensively and have it on file. Hi, Prince. It isn't the replay just yet, but I do appreciate you giving me hashtag replay. It's okay. And so what you can get approved for, it can be dependent on your annual gross sales. Usually you get 10 to 15% of your annual gross revenue, sometimes up to 20%. But in today's market, even with exceptional details, you're seeing between 10 to 15%. And how do you get a minimum? You get a minimum if your average daily bank balances are less. And that number 10% can go even less, 9, 8, 7%. And the reason that is, again, your average daily bank balance, your monthly sales over the last 3 months, last 6 months. What are you doing? Going up or are you going down? What are you projecting? So that's why we always ask for the last 3 months. Sometimes we would ask for more, but the last 3 months, the most recent, give us a clear picture of what you're doing now. Is your July month in monthly revenue and monthly sales, average daily bank balance is much greater than it was the 2 previous months? If so, that's much better to look at. But what is also your lowest month? And in circumstances, you get approved between 75% to up to 200% of your average monthly sales, or up to 150%. Depends on the service. It can be as much as 100% of your average monthly revenue and your average monthly sales. So it just depends on what you come into it with. And that's why I have a questionnaire for each and every one of you that I'm going to link to down below. If you already filled this out, great. If I got back to you, you know. If I haven't, I've still yet to. And I have quite a bit of people that are like being pushy and trying to rush me. And if you haven't heard how I do these, I can understand that. But at the same time, we got to be patient. It's a one-man show, but you're getting it from the best. And what you get in these questionnaires is going to give you a clear picture of what you're going to need to qualify for. Some numbers if necessary, how it exactly works, what I'm exactly looking for, and so forth. So I did plenty of them today. I have more to get to tomorrow. So please stick with me. What helps out most is when you can give feedback. So don't just submit a questionnaire. If you want to work with the best and you are going to be diligent, punctual, do it. If you're not, if you're just going to say, I'm going to set it and forget it type of attitude, don't work with me. You're going to be an individual who says, oh, I'll get to it, but I never do. Don't do it. Go waste that time and energy with somebody else who can underperform, who won't do it correctly with you, who won't check up on you, who won't care about you personally and in business. But if you do, that questionnaire form is down below. Plus, you'll get a free 6-step pre-approval lending checklist to get you approved for funding much faster. And whatever is changing in the market, I'll make sure to update. You'll always know. So that's what you can get approved for. Depends on the service. There's less that you can get approved for too if you have less revenue. And there are plenty of other factors that come into play, like credit, average daily bank balances, your amount of monthly sales. Is it up? Is it down? Middle? And every service is different. So when I speak to you, I'm saying it different than this person. Or it could be similar, but it's a bit different depending on the industry, depending on your revenue, your time in business, your FICO credit score. Business credit plays a factor. How much? What does your paydex scale have to be at? What is my FICO SBSS score? How do I know that? What are my Consumer Credit Bureau reports showing me? Is this going to affect me getting funding or the maximum amount? If so, what do I need to do to fix that? Why can't I get an SBA loan? Am I above or below revenue? Am I above or below profitability? For how much years? Am I in the right industry to be able to do seller financing, purchase an existing business, business acquisitions, be seen by this lender or that one? So it's not cut and thin, guys. Like if you hear about, we'll go to the bank, well, here's this SBA lender, you don't always get a clear picture They'll just tell you, hey, just submit your file, because they got you. That's what they're going to do. Hey, just submit your file so we can have a better look. But you need a better understanding before you do any of that. And if it takes that to know a little bit more, then okay, but at least you have that information. And what it all comes down to at the end of the day that I've been saying all this week, if you haven't been even watching one video, well, you make 15-minute videos, you make 30-minute, why don't you make them shorter? See, the reality is, if I made them so short, you wouldn't get the information you needed all at once. Boom. And the problem and the reality is that these videos need to go a bit longer. And they need to stay on topic. Because if they're not, then I'm sure you'll be like, no. And there's a place and a time for it. Even if it's a 20, 30-minute video, come back to it, bookmark it, watch it. People will email me, thank you, Michael. When I get home today, I'm going to go watch it. I didn't finish watching the video, but I will finish it tonight. Or I'll make sure I watch it all tomorrow. I've been working. But just saying, well, why don't you make it a 5-minute video? Well, why don't you understand how this works? Because it's only a 5-minute video. Well, why didn't you get on a call with me? Yeah, well, even if we did, I can't give you everything on a phone call. Did you write it all down? I wrote out as much as I could. Well, that's why I'm going to send it to you in an email, what we discussed, but even in more detail. But I didn't look at the email. Let's not work together then. I don't want to work with you. It's as straightforward as that. I even followed up 2 to 3 times and you didn't do your part. Like, I didn't expect a response back on that email, but you then never communicated back and gave me feedback on your best options or your best option. Instead, you decided to do what everybody else would do. I'm going to just go find a lender. I'm going to go type in loan here. You don't want to do that. Unless you're an individual who would rather waste their energy and their time. It's never about disliking. It's more about, I didn't find that email. I just didn't take the time to do it. I'm busy and like a machine gun going off. Like nobody's got energy and time for that, guys. Don't be that person. You receive emails. You even got on a call with me. I took energy and time out. I asked you the question, would an outcome to this be for you to proceed forward once you have that information? Yeah, if I have it, makes sense. Okay, but let me follow up with you again in about a week or about 3 to 4 days, however much time, and I do very easily. I don't really much pressure you. But if there's no email response back, no text, no nothing, don't go off to somebody else just wasting their energy and time. Because if you're just gathering information, I get it. But if that information will never be put into action, you'll forget about it. That's why I ask a lot of people, how soon do you need your funds? Would it be now or would it be in the future? Maybe 3 months down the road. Today, I would need it by next week. Okay, well, I have a better understanding. And then second, you're going to have to put your part in. If I'm requesting this documentation, will you send it over? You know what? Something came up. I got to go out of the country. Wait, I got to get this through the IRS. Good Lord. Like, that's not stuff that I want to be, like, I don't mind, but I just don't want to get involved in what's called energy and time suckering. You're becoming a vampire. Like, you're sucking people's time without you even knowing it. Because right now, I have a lot of people like this where my lenders are upset. And it's going to me because I took the time with Joe or Sally and they're already past underwriting. They just need to be communicated on what their offer could be and what the parameters are. That's it. Think it through. Take the weekend. Come back Monday or Tuesday. But if you go cold turkey, you just don't understand and don't give a response. This isn't just submit an application and just receive an offer and I'm going to go ahead and forward information like this. You have to take the time. That's what I ask of you. Are you going to be strategic? Or would you rather just, I'm going to go figure it out on my own. I'm going to take the lowest price because I'm always price shopping. Whatever, I tried too much and it doesn't work. Or somebody told me about this cash advance to watch out for it. But they're not you. So that's all I want to say on that front. PPP, forgiveness, fraudulent activity, idle, not a lot moving. Besides getting in contact, I spoke about that with the constituents, small business advocates within your U.S. Senate locally. So I made a video on that just the other day. Make sure you guys go watch that. I won't be specific on that now. Employee retention tax credit, getting up to $26,000 per employee. See, what I ask of people is just be punctual. It's not too much to ask for. Show up on these. Try to watch it all the way through because there's a lot of golden nuggets. So I'm going to leave it at that. If anybody has any questions, let me come over here to the comments. Have you done funding with a small independent trucking company? Yes, I have. Of all sizes, by the way. Lower amount of trucks, higher amount, different types. I've done it. Is there a certain concern that you may have, maybe a problem that you've been enduring? But I can definitely help out. Trucking was one that I specialized in for a very long time, so I know how it works. But I do all types of funding of all backgrounds, of all industries, and I know them all very well. I've seen all the reasons. I've seen all the bidding in this contract and then that one. And do I have enough funds in my account to service the debt? Do I get paid enough per month? How many deposits? In every industry, from SBA loans to all services you can think about, I fulfill on. Today's market, everybody, is the SBA 7A is what I'm getting a lot of. From one specific industry, a lot of, I would say, real estate. But it goes for any healthcare, real estate, technology. I have those, construction. The list goes on and on. Even restaurants, but you have to be careful because they're very high risk. Trucking, definitely. But people just come and they go. I try to follow up and ask them, where'd you go? I don't say it that way, but like, I don't want to just jump on a phone call with someone and just give you information and then it never goes to anything. Like, yeah, there's a time and a place for it, but I'd rather give somebody information that's not ready now, but we'll be coming back. Or, well, at least be responsive is what I asked them on a phone call or on a text message, email. Please be responsive. Any kind of feedback, but nothing doesn't achieve anything. And it only suckers me in, and now I'm putting energy and time that should be devoted to someone else. As little as thinking about sending an email to you is a lot. Just a little thought about doing that, and you're not going to be responsive, is me putting in energy and time. So I hope you can respect that, because I respect you personally and in business. I put myself in your shoes every day. I've been in your shoes. I've received funding myself. I know how difficult that is. So although I didn't gather a lot of questions for today, this is spontaneous. Again, I know not a lot of people can join. But also, one other thing, be careful about the comments when this does get uploaded, because you will see a lot of spammers, and I'm not associated with them. They do a follow train where they comment on each other and they comment on yours. Don't be careful unless it's a legitimate source. Somebody pretending to be me, make sure you look at the profile. One current question that I had is, can I get funding if I'm in Puerto Rico? I'm actually dealing with a lot of them that are from Puerto Rico. What you have to be careful of, though, is your bank statements. Are they U.S. banks? One or multiple accounts? That's what I'm questioning. And if you can, it is a possibility that we can help. Sometimes you don't have to, but it's most necessary to have that. And then I have to ask you what you're depositing per month is another factor. But we do have lenders. There are very few that we work with who are in Puerto Rico, who are the best. And they'll be able to look at a file and proceed, as opposed to if you went someone else or somewhere else, wouldn't work. And then there are other types of ways to receive funding. If you're with Puerto Rico or in Canada, usually outside of the US, it can become very difficult. Like we're thinking about a lot of different countries. Lenders won't lend there. So that's one that I've had questions on lately, and the timing of it was perfect because I have multiple clients in Puerto Rico, Canada, more of them getting processed, more of them coming back to get more funds. Others who just get started and they never do anything. Why do you start something and don't end it? From curiosity, wouldn't you? Yeah, but I'm going to get more information before I start anything. Well, you're different. No, it's just I have a better understanding of how this works now. You may not, but we'll get you there. What you guys want is this. I want speed. I want it done. It doesn't always work that way. I have people have to get back to my email for credit repair services where, hey, we have to wait about 37 days and an additional 7 days thereafter for us to get information back. Until then, just be patient. And if you were told this, those are the parameters. That's it. So that was just one amongst many questions. I didn't jot down a lot of them for this video because it is again spontaneous. But what does it take to get approved? That's a more general question that people will ask me. Again, it comes back to your funding details: time in business, FICO, revenue, industry, and you can go even deeper into those sections. How long will it take me to get funding? Are you going for a cash advance, an unsecured term loan? Asset-based financing, is that inventory? Is that backed up by accounts receivables? SBA, personal loans, startup loans? Just depends on the service. Same day, 24 to 72 hours, 6 to 8 weeks plus. Employee retention tax credit, 6 to 8 months. So it all varies. So I'll leave it with those two very general, one a little bit more specific question. And over time, I will gather more information. Hopefully I can email you guys on what kind of questions you may have if you didn't already submit it into my group when you joined. But what's working, and I said this earlier in TikTok, the individuals who are really winning at getting lower interest rates, and I'm saying below like 15%, are those of you who have collateral. Now, I can go deep into that. I can go very deep into the SBA loans. I know that world very well. I know what it takes to get the financing for specific reasons. 10% equity of this or no 10% equity of this. If this is part of the shareholder relationship, this is da 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 da. I can go on for hours on that. But at the top level, those who are waiting today, because cash isn't king necessarily. What is king is collateral. Do you have liquidity? Do you have enough cash on hand? What kind of assets we can take equity out of? real estate property? How much are you able to give up? What do we need? What is it appraised for? What is in today's market? How much inventory do you have? Do you have unpaid invoices? Those of you who are winning right now at getting lower interest rates, whether you can get an SBA loan or not, because yeah, that can be backed up. So the SBA, their fourth way of getting you funding is by looking at collateral. They don't necessarily need it. We need an assets report sheet. A lot of the times I'll send this out to you, either in the beginning or in the middle or towards the end of the process. Sometimes I may not directly send it to you, but I'm in communication with the lender who does. And I want to see what's on that report. Now, the other ones are cash flow. Cash flow is primarily what the SBA goes off of. And that's why they look at 2 to 3+ years of it to see if you can service the debt. How much overhead are you taking on? What are your business expenses? What is your debt to service ratio? But above all of it, again, if you're looking at it from an SBA, sure, but if you're looking at it from another perspective and you're looking for better rates, but you're like, I don't want to give up collateral, well, you're looking at a 19 to 50%, 19 to 70% unsecured loan, term loan, or perhaps you're looking at these cash advances, or if it's a line of credit, at least it's lower and it keeps your repayment schedule down. But the question is, will you get enough of a line of credit? Do you even get qualified for that? If your credit already stinks, how can we come in and give you a line of credit? Because that's what it's based off of, more than anything. The ideal situation, these are two. Get a line of credit and get a lump sum if you can on top, whether it's a term loan or a cash advance. And it'll help. The benefit exceeds the repayment. You're going to double, triple, quadruple your return on your investment in the short or in the long term. And I'll find out. I'll dig up by asking you questions like these. All right, you have a 1-to-3 ratio. We've had this consistently as in the past 2-3 years. And if you only took this was what it would do. Okay, this would make sense. But then other individuals only qualify for one option. It's not the one that they wanted. Well, does it make sense to take what you can get and use it? Well, it wasn't going to cover all my projects. It was only going to cover about 50% of it. But I understand that if I take this is the effect of this. The repayment would be nothing compared to what I'm actually making. Or if I got a term loan, well, of 1 to 2 years, sometimes we push it out now because the banks aren't approving a lot of individuals. So we can try to extend that over 2 years. Or if you have collateral, maybe you have more control because you're offering up a certain amount of collateral. Appreciate you for tuning in. I'm glad you're learning a lot from my content and on this channel. I believe we're one of the fastest growing channels out there. Over time, I'll try to bring on individuals for interviews. And I could have already done it, but I have a lot of projects, a lot of things that I'm putting time into that I want to create consistent content in. But over time, hopefully that becomes more of a thing. And if not, everything just works out how it is. And you guys are getting a clear picture and a better understanding, not just other people who create content on just EIDL loans. You know how many of those individuals don't even understand how these options work, private, non-private lending options? Too many. You know how many of them I actually get that come to me? They tell me, this person didn't help me. Oh my God, I know this is how it worked. If here, going back to the collateral part, so try to get multiple options if you can. The credits definitely is what people want right now, most above anything. But if you can get a lump sum on top of it to maximize your funding for your project, the projects that you need, because you only got to put for $20,000 on a line of credit, but you needed an extra $30,000, we give you the $30,000 with the lump sum. You're at $50,000. That would definitely benefit you. So it's having to combine multiple sources to get you to where you need to get to, and that can be uncollateralized, no collateral to put down. But then The other part of this is offering up collateral. That's what you want to look at and say, what kind of collateral? Well, I don't want to offer this. I only need the 20,000 anyway, so I can go the unsecured term loan or the unsecured line of credit or the cash advance and start there. It's not like I'm seeking 100,000. I got to pay back 180,000 over 15 months. Well, I'll just start off with 20,000, pay back 27, 25,000. I'm going to do good enough with this anyways. I just needed some repairs. Why would it make sense for me to put up? It wouldn't even really make sense for you to put up collateral unless you're looking at something equivalent to what you're putting up. So try to combine multiple products if it's beneficial. And then 2, you have collateral to get you lower rates, probably increase the term, have more control over the type of assets that you're willing to give up, the percentage, how much we can finance up to, depending on what we're looking at, the appraisal, the market now, what would it be like in 3 to 6? I do all of this, guys. Like, I do this with my underwriters. I do this with the lenders. We always forecast. I'm always sitting down with them and I'm thinking, how can we make this better and easier for the person? What does this process have to look like? Hi, Julio. Welcome in. How are you doing? Appreciate you. In no hurry. Don't think I'm expecting you to send it in. Like, it's our Friday. It's Friday fun. Loosen up a bit. Sometimes we don't take things that serious on a Friday, and when Saturday comes, like, I could tell you my data, from my statistics of everything, like the drop-off rate for business owners who even just start an application, it goes extensively low. And those who do anything, even if they're already in the process. And also it has to do with the lenders if they're in or not. You're welcome. Yeah, just share with me more information on that email that I sent you, and then I can continue forward. It's likely that I'll hear a response now by Monday because it is about to be 3, and a lot of them work on the East Coast. So once I do have that, though, then I can have more information. But if our internal team, if that's who we're going through, is trying to reach out, just let them know that it's me you're working with too. And there's a difference sometimes when you work with a direct lender and you don't. A lot of the times it's better to work with a brokerage who has access to those direct lender partnerships because you get better opportunities. And then they may be fighting one another to say, hey, we want to take this. And then there are, again, other circumstances where I go, hey, this direct lender. But a lot of the times, this is the way to go, not always direct. In today's market, that's what I would do and focus on that, especially right now in this time. But if that's what's happening, we're all in communication with one another, so I know what's happening. I'm CC'd. I get a call or I get a text message a lot of the times. And I know what's happening in the underwriting, as so do they. So I know every part of this. I collect information. I see the information and so forth. But yeah, that goes for everybody, not just Julio in here. That's how hands-on I actually am with all this. I go the extra mile. So I'm going to give it about another minute, and then I will get going. Julio, you have a check mark next to my calendar here because you have already reached out. So what I did is I can't fit everybody in here, but I have those who are like a huge priority that like are very time sensitive. So I'll put them down on my calendar. This one's a little bit shorter. But sorry. So Julio had already a check. I dealt with more of them right here that have a check. These individuals, I don't even know where they are, to be honest. You're getting the boot. So a lot of people right now are getting a boot because why do you start something and then don't even continue with it? let me know. I'm not interested, or this is what I thought it would be, but it wasn't that. Well, I had to set the expectations right. You just didn't take the time. Now, it's funny though, because I have people's names on here who, like, I asked this guy a question 2 days ago, and I responded like this. My responsive rate, but like I said, I want to deal with people who are serious, people who are not going to just disappear. They're here one day, they're here for a good time, but not around for a long time. I'm here post you getting funded. Well, I couldn't get rid of them. Jeez. But it's never pressure. It's always just checking up and saying, hey, how are things going? Yeah, you can come back and get more funds. And then I go, hey, this is an actual good roadmap to take now. Maybe you can go underneath this type of service instead. But a lot of people just try to do things their own way. So I'll leave it about 30 more seconds. All right, everybody. Appreciate you all for tuning in. And I hope you guys have a great evening. If it isn't that time already, have a great rest of your Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Get out there and enjoy the rest of what we have in the summer. And I will be back with you guys next week. Keep looking out for my content. Look in the description down below so you can get started with that questionnaire if you haven't yet. And for all other information, you can refer to it, my email. But I would recommend, if you haven't filled out that questionnaire, do so. If you're a part of my email broadcasts, keep looking out for those. Don't ignore them. They're very well worth your time, even though it may sound the same or not. There's always something new. And if you found value, please share it with others who you feel will get value out of it. It can be a complete stranger, a friend, or a family member. And if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so and click that bell notification icon so you do not miss any future content on all business loans, credit, business credit, FICO, different opportunities you can take advantage of online, keeping up to date with the latest and greatest information on all types of services, and so much more. Catch you all later. Bye.